Okay, so today we're still looking at amortization tables, but we're sort of looking at some, the ending scenario, because that's where things can get a little bit different at the end of our tables. So what we're talking about is like a final payment. So what happens is when we have these, the first scenario we're looking at is the reducing balance loan. So we've borrowed money from the bank. We've set up, we're going to make these payments. So you can see in this example, we're making a $5,009.12 payment. And we're going to make that, this one's compounding annually. So they're just going to do every year, they make a payment. And we can see when you get down to the last payment, what happens is there's got to be a little bit of an adjustment, because what happens is the payment, say you want to pay it in 4 years, so that means whatever's left owing, we need to make a bigger payment. Or you might get to the 5th year, and because you have not, a payment is going to be well over what you have left owing. Now the banks don't want to owe you money, so they often change it so that it'll end up, they adjust your final payment so that at the end of the time agreed, it all zeroes out. So we often have to adjust the last one. So let's have a look at this example, and it says that, just moving that up. Consider the following amortization table for a reducing balance loan of $20,000 with an interest rate of 8% per annum. So there's your R, and compounding annually. So PPY is 1. Okay, the regular payments of $5,009.12 are made for the first 4 years as shown in the amortization. It says calculate the payment required in the 5th year to fully pay off the loan fully. So what you can see you got to the 4th year, and you actually have a lower than the payment is less, lower than the normal payment. So that's where we can trigger that it's going to be adjusted. Okay, so they want you to go to 5 years. They want it to be paid off in the 5th year. So what you've got to do is you've got to work out the final payment is going to be a little bit different. So when we say the final payment is going to equal, now we've obviously got to pay off the balance before. So we need to pay off that amount that's still owing, plus the interest amount earned in that, the interest amount gained. Okay, so if we look in this example, we would do the final balance in the 4th year was 4638.12, plus we've got to get this interest that we have to pay interest on that amount, and if we pay all that will then zero off the thing. So do you remember interest amount is found by going R over PPY over 100 times the balance before. So because we are talking about, this is the 5th year, so you might want to write that there, this is the 5th year. Okay, so the way I'm going to find that, I'm just going to write that total again, but now I'm going to write the actual figures for this. So it's 8% per annum over 100 times the balance before, which is the 638.12. So when you do that, you end up with $5,009, and it's actually 17 cents. So you can see, if I just did my normal payment, I would still owe the bank 2 cents. They do not want to keep the account open for 2 cents. They don't want to do that, okay? Because what would mean, if you kept the account open, they would have to keep it open for another year, and then they will be owing you a lot of money because you make that normal payment. So they don't like to do it, so we adjust it. So we did, in the end, have to pay a little bit more. We paid 2 cents more in our 5th year, and then that zeroed it off. So in this one, it says, consider the following amortisation table for a reducing balance home a loan of $10,000 with an interest rate of 8% per annum. So we've seen that's R, compounding quarterly, so PPY equals 4. And 3 quarterly payments are made of $26. All right. So it says, complete the amortisation table corresponding to the payment for such that the final payment is 0. So it doesn't matter. We have to, when you have this case, this scenario, because they want it to zero off, you have to be careful. This could change. So this will be different. So this final payment will differ. Okay, so be careful with that, because I've seen in a multi-choice question where they'll just say what's the final payment, and kids will just say what the regular one is. It's not that in the final case. All right, so let's have a look at what we need to do. So it says complete the amortisation table corresponding to the payment for such that the final payment ensures the balance is 0. All right, so let's write this out. So A, if we want a 0 balance, so if we want to get a 0 balance or the final balance, we're going to say we need the payment needs to equal the balance before plus the interest, yeah? Plus the interest amount. We saw that's what we need. So we could go and do that. So if you look at the balance before was 2575.47, and the interest rate, remember, we find by going R over PPY over 100 times balance before. Okay, so in this case, if I substitute those values that we do know in, so we had, it was 8% over quarterly over 100 and times that same balance before. So if you do that, you'll end up with, I'm just stepping it out so you can see. We actually had 51 interest, so our final payment is 2626.98. So you can see it is a little bit more than our regular payment. It was 98 cents. Okay, so there's our final payment. So then it says, so we needed to find a few of those values. So we could see here, this is A. There, we found A. We found B with the interest. There's B. And if we want to know what the principal reduction is, the principal reduction is the same as your payment, because isn't it? It's going to reduce it by the loan. So this ends up being 2626.98 as well. So this is A and C. All right, in part, sorry, I'm just going to do it over here because I've got room. In part B, or question B, it says calculate the total payments made for this loan. So what you have to do, total payments, what this person ended up doing was they did 4 payments of the 2626 plus the final payment, which was 2626.98. So that would be the total payment they made was $10,504.98. So if you have a look, they borrowed this money at the beginning of the year for $10,000. They made quarterly repayments. So in the end, they ended up paying $10,504.98 back. So when the last question, it says how much is the interest? So interest is how much extra you got charged. So how much extra did you get charged to borrow this money? If you had a total payment, you totally paid out $10,504.98. So what would the interest be? Yeah, 504. So interest, let's just write that here. So the interest paid can equal the total payments, minus, I'm just going to say VO, or the principal. So in this example, the total payments were 10,504.98 minus originally was 10,000, so 504.98. So for them to borrow that 10,000 for the year, it cost them $504.98.